The Milpitas Police Department is asking for Fugitive Watch viewers' help to identify some possible murder suspects from the Great Mall.
Yeah, we're hoping somebody can help us identify these guys. The suspects and the vehicle in these surveillance videos. On October 16th of 2009, the Milpitas Police Department responded to a fatal shooting that occurred in the parking garage at the Great Mall in the Bay Area. The victim was found deceased at the scene. The initial investigation developed a possible suspect SUV, black in color, dark tinted windows, and chrome wheels. The vehicle may have gunshot damage to the body of the vehicle, and one of the windows may be shattered. The SUV was seen leaving the area of the parking garage at the time of the shooting and was occupied by two possible suspects, possibly of Hispanic descent. The mall's surveillance video captured the attached picture of the SUV as it was driving on the mall property. During the investigation, Milpitas Police Department detectives obtained information that male individuals associated to the SUV may have been in a store in the mall. The store surveillance video was reviewed and the attached pictures of the male suspects were obtained. Information developed during the investigation indicates that the males pictured in the store surveillance video may be from the Salinas area.
Remember folks, many of the fugitives you see may be considered by law enforcement to be extremely dangerous. Do not make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them. If you recognize any of these fugitives, call our hotline at 1-800-9-CAUGHT or text us at 408-355-0999, or you can send a confidential email at tips@fugitive.com if you have any information that can help law enforcement solve this crime.
Armed robbers terrorized two young women at the Plaza jewelry store in San Jose, California. Detective Brandon Sanchez is determined to bring them to justice.
On July 2nd, 2010, at about 11:15 in the morning, a armed takeover robbery occurred at 160 South Jackson at the Plaza jewelry store. A Hispanic male entered the store and made contact with the two female employees that were working inside and asked them in Spanish if they had any gold. At that moment, a second suspect came inside who was also a Hispanic male and walked to and then around the counter and made contact with the two female employees behind the counter. The initial suspect then pulled out a silver revolver, or what appeared to be a silver revolver, from his waistband and ordered the two female clerks to the ground behind the counter. The second suspect who walked in then broke off from where the victims were and the suspect with the gun and walked over to the display cabinets. While that suspect was rummaging around through the display cases, the first suspect that was armed with the gun then tied and bound the two female clerks behind the counter, tied them up and put them on the ground facing each other. That suspect stayed with the two female clerk victims behind the counter, while the second suspect made his way around the jewelry store. He ended up breaking a couple of display cabinets and took some of the jewelry that was on display, and then along with some bracelets and whatnot from another stand-up display case that was mounted on the wall. They ended up getting the keys from the two female employees and opened up the safe and got an undisclosed amount of cash from the drawer from the safe. They attempted to try to break the surveillance equipment that was behind the counter by just breaking the monitor, which they were unsuccessful in actually destroying the video. The two suspects then fled northbound through the parking lot and then away from the scene. They have not been located, and there has been great video surveillance from the establishment that we're going to put out. And if anybody has any leads, I would encourage them to call the Fugitive Watch hotline.
Steve, let's talk about the drug wars in Mexico. How serious is that?
Actually, it is. Since 2006, when President Felipe Calderón took office and declared war on the drug cartels, it has escalated to a war that is more serious, taking more casualties than the United States is taking in Afghanistan. Over 23,000 people have been killed in this drug war. It's something that we do need to be concerned about in the United States.
Wow, Steve, that's a lot of people to get killed. Now, would you say that the majority of those people killed, are they people that are involved in the whole drug trade, or are these innocent bystanders getting killed?
Well, according to the Mexican government, Of these 23,000 people that have been killed, they say that the majority, over 90% of them, have been either drug cartel people fighting with each other, or drug cartels versus the Mexican army and law enforcement. Very few of them have been innocent citizens. However, we need to remember that this is the most violent war that's going on since the 1910 Mexican Revolution.
Steve, how does that affect us here in the United States?
Well, it affects us a lot. Our own Pentagon, our own military, has listed Mexico right alongside Pakistan as one of the two countries that we need to keep an eye on as a possible total collapse of the government. If the government collapses there, we will have another Somalia, another Lebanon right on our borders.
Okay, Steve, talking about borders. Now, we have a lot of cities and a lot of towns that are right on the border. How's that affecting them?
Well, American law enforcement, the sheriffs and police departments along the border, they are screaming for help. They say that the drug cartels are so powerful, if that violence spills over the border, they are not equipped to handle it. They are civilian law enforcement agencies, they're not military, and they do not think that they have the personnel, the firepower, and the training to handle that kind of violence. The other thing is that violence has already spilled over to the United States. Phoenix reports at least one kidnapping a day, and they attribute that to the drug cartels.
Steve, some people say that the United States bears some blame for this drug war. Why is that?
Well, many people say that the United States bears a big responsibility because of our insatiable appetite for drugs. If we in the United States were not buying all those drugs and all that cash not flowing south, the drug cartels would not have a profit motive. The other problem is the weapons that are flowing south from the United States. A California, or I should say a Texas sheriff's deputy, stopped a van headed to Mexico, and that van contained hundreds of automatic weapons. I believe they said there was at least 100 AK-47s, fully automatic, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Had that crossed, that'd be another 100 drug cartel members armed, and heaven knows how many more Mexican police and soldiers could have been hurt or killed because of those weapons.
Well, that's some good information, Steve, and I think that it's pretty important. I think our viewers need to try to stay up on this, and we're going to try to help them with that, right?
That's right. Our viewers, if you want to keep up with what's going on in the drug war, come to our website at www.fugitive.com. We try to keep up with the breaking news and let you know exactly what's going on down there.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Fugitive Watch. I'm Scott Castorita.
And I'm Steve Ferdine.